Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori and I love creating videos about living a simple and healthy lifestyle. I also love to share my travels when I do have the chance to travel and just different tips on how to travel well, how to stay healthy while you're traveling. And in today's video, I wanted to share my must-have items that I love to pack in my carry-on bag to have accessible during a flight. And I usually only pack carry-on. I often don't actually check a bag when I'm flying, but this is specifically for the bag that would be under the seat in front of me, not so much in the suitcase that I'm putting in the overhead bin. These are just items that would be in my purse or in a little backpack that I would have accessible to me during the flight. So I have an upcoming flight and it's actually an overnight red-eye flight. I leave at midnight and I will be flying for several hours through the night, and I am not good at sleeping on flights. I have to set myself up for success. I have to do so many things strategically to be able to even sleep for an hour or two on a flight. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I know some people just can naturally sleep wherever they are. I basically need to be in a dark room in my bed in order to fall asleep. But I've been traveling most of my life. I've always traveled quite a bit. So I know which items I like in my carry-on. I know which items I will use and which ones I don't really end up touching. So these are the items that I love to have in my carry-on and that I always use every time I fly. The first one is a water bottle, and I feel like everyone is talking about reusable water bottles these days, but I've traveled with a reusable water bottle my whole life. It's a game changer. I know that a lot of people avoid drinking water the day that they're flying, and I think that that's the worst thing that you can possibly do to your body when you're about to fly, because airplanes and just airports and traveling in general are just breeding grounds for germs. You don't get enough sleep, the altitude is different, the pressure is different, your body just naturally gets dehydrated, and I believe that it is so important to stay hydrated all the time, but especially when you're traveling. I feel like I'm getting weirdly fired up about this, but I think that a water bottle is one of the most important things. And not only having the water bottle, but drinking your water. So what I always do is I try to drink a full water bottle on my way to the airport, because obviously your water bottle has to be empty when you go through security or they're gonna confiscate it. I have definitely been the person chugging my water in the security line so that they don't confiscate my water. That has happened to me several times. But then as soon as I get through security, I find a water fountain right away. If you're in North America, that's always possible. Every airport has water fountains. If you're in Europe or somewhere else overseas, it's a little bit harder to find a water fountain. But yeah, I always fill up my water bottle right away, and then I try to drink as much of that as I can before I get on the flight. And you usually have at least an hour to wait before you have to board, so I like to try to drink lots of water right away so that I still have time to go to the bathroom in the airport before I have to board the plane. I also usually book an aisle seat because I know that I'm gonna have to get up and pee halfway through my flight. I know that so many people do everything that they can to avoid using an airplane bathroom, and I get that they're gross, but I just think it's more important to stay hydrated than it is to avoid spending 3 minutes in a gross little room. Okay, that was a lot of information about water bottles and me going to the bathroom. So let's move on to the next one, which is having a natural antibacterial. So I actually don't use traditional antibacterial products. I avoid anything with triclosan or alcohols that can be super drying to your skin or other harmful chemicals. Most antibacterial products on the market actually kill too many of the germs. They're actually killing the good bacteria on your skin as well, which creates a problem because any leftover bad bacteria on your skin now has no good bacteria to compensate it. It actually ends up being worse. But I do use antibacterial products that are made with natural ingredients, and they're not quite as harsh on your skin. They still leave enough of the good bacteria so that it can do its thing and you're not disturbing that natural microbiome on your skin. So I like to just have a spray with essential oils in it. Clove essential oil is proven to be natural antibacterial, as well as other oils like lemon and tea tree, which have lots of antibacterial properties as well. So I just like to use something like that, and I spray it on my armrests as well as my tray because those are disgusting. Airplanes do not get cleaned in between every use. They don't even get cleaned daily, which is just really gross if you think about it. So I always like to wipe those down, and you will be really surprised by how filthy those armrests are. The next item is a sleep mask, and this one is crucial if I want to be sleeping on a plane. Even when they dim the cabin lights on an overnight flight, it's still pretty bright in there, and I just get really distracted by people walking around or the flight attendants coming through the aisles, and everything just kind of wakes me up. So having a sleep mask on, having it completely dark is so helpful for me. And then along with my sleep mask is having earplugs, and that's the same idea, just helps drown everything out. so that I don't get distracted by conversations or just things that are happening. Also really nice if there's a screaming baby on your flight, especially on overnight flight where you just really want to sleep. And this is like no hate towards moms with babies. I get it, I'm not mad at you, but it's just nice to be able to put your earplugs in and go to sleep. My next item is having lip balm. So I find that my skin, my lips get super dry when I'm flying, and I'm always wanting to reapply lip balm a few times. So that's just an easy thing to keep on hand. Okay, the next item is snacks. And I probably won't need as many snacks on an overnight flight because it's not a time that I would be eating normally. But I try to pay attention to if I'm flying during mealtime or breakfast or something like that, and bring healthy snacks with me. For me, it's super crucial to stay on a normal eating pattern and eating normal things that I would eat at home, because my stomach already gets pretty upset when I'm flying. So anything I can do to help that is really helpful. So I usually pass on the free airplane snacks, and I just like to bring my own, like granola bars made with good ingredients, fruit bars with no added sugar, or I love these mango slices that Costco sells that have no added sugars, they are just mangoes. Okay, the next item is essential oils. I always bring my oils when I'm flying, and they are so amazing. I like to have one to cover all of the basics, so something for headaches, something for sleep, something for stress and anxiety, something for my digestive system, and something to just boost my immune system throughout the travel day. Okay, and then the next item is bringing my own tea bag. This is a really easy thing that takes up basically no space, but I appreciate it so much when they come by with the drink cart. I don't really like any of the teas. They usually just have like black tea and like really cheap green tea maybe. I'm a little bit of a tea snob. I like high quality teas, so I like to bring my own, maybe like a peppermint tea to help with my stomach, or just something to help me sleep. And then I just get hot water from the flight attendant and just use my own tea bag. Okay, and then I always bring a pair of socks. I'm always freezing on flights, and if I'm trying to sleep, I like can't sleep when I'm freezing cold. So having a pair of socks, a pair of warm socks, is super helpful for me. They don't really take up too much space in my bag, and if I'm flying with sandals, which I will be flying with sandals this time, it's just nice to be able to slip on a pair of socks and just be warm and cozy. Okay, and then I love to have an audiobook or some podcasts downloaded. So I am not really a phone game person. I just get really bored. I'm not really interested in them. I also have a pretty hard time reading a physical book on airplanes. Like I've said a million times, I just get really distracted by everything that's going on around me on a plane. So I just have trouble reading a physical book or a magazine or something. But I do really love to listen to an audiobook or a podcast while I'm just sitting on the plane, maybe while I have my sleep mask on, just have an audiobook in my ears. That's one of my favorite things. So I always just make sure I have a few options downloaded. Okay, and then I love to have something that I can use as a blanket. So in the winter, I'll always bring like a big blanket scarf, and that way I can just wear it as a scarf. But then if I'm really cold, I can use it as a blanket, I can use it as a pillow. It's just really nice to have something that's really versatile. This time I'll probably just have like a big cardigan that I can wear, and I can take that off if I want to use it as a pillow, or I can just kind of wrap it around my body if I'm cold. But I just like to have something that I can kind of use as a blanket. So I hope that those tips are helpful. I'm so hoping that I'll be able to get a couple hours of sleep on this flight, because otherwise I'm gonna get there at 7 a.m. with no sleep, and that's just gonna kind of suck. So I would just love to be able to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep on this flight. So let me know if you have other tips, specifically tips to help you sleep on a plane, because I need all the help I can get. But I hope that you liked today's video, and I will be back in a few days with another one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.